walls. I start to tell her where you started. Because I know she ain't going to start it because she ain't consistent at it. Church without walls, that's what the Lord was telling me. Well, then listen. Jesus had a church without walls. The highways, the byways, in the parking lots, because these are the highways now, the parking lot, in the whatever you want to call it, wherever you call it, in the park, whatever, public places and stuff like that. Church without walls. Because in a church building, what happened with us is we become too formatted. Everything becomes so format. And, well, you got to do it this way. Well, you have to do it that way. Well, you have to, okay, well, I understand that. I do understand that. And some things that we do are good. But some things we form, are habit forming, and it is not good. All right? All right. Well, Jesus is going to come 10 o'clock today, and that's what he said. What if he comes 10:01? Is he late? Never late. He's always on time. We're going to talk about something this morning that I think is very interesting, that I think a lot of people need to we've forgotten, and we kind of walked away from certain things, and we've just kind of take things, a little for granted, and I'm all right. Everything will be all right. And I think a lot of times we don't realize where we are in Christ and what we're actually sitting on. And now I'm not trying to point anybody out or whatever you want to call it, all right? But listen, go to the book of Daniel, chapter 12, starting at verse 4. The book of Daniel, and then I'm going to tell you about a dream a young man told me about. And I believe that if he did not find out that I was an apostle, he probably wouldn't have told me the dream. But when he found out that I was an apostle, when I told him who I was, and then we kind of talked, and some of the people he know, I know. Okay, he's a Brazilian. He's from Brazil, and he happened to work with us, and he said some things, and then I'm like, well, I know some people, blah blah blah, and then one thing led to another. Oh yeah, I used to go to that church. Like, oh, okay, so all right, all right, all right. For the ones who haven't been there, for the ones who don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Just read the scripture right here. But thou, go ahead, Sister Sean. Because I don't want you to lose focus and get there. I wonder what he's talking about. If you weren't there, you wouldn't know. Go ahead.
But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased.
Is that true? Many shall run to and fro, but knowledge, and knowledge shall be on the increase, or shall increase. Listen, how many of you guys believe that we're living in the end time? Or the end time is to come? You don't think knowledge have increased? Look at these smartphones. This phone is supposed to be smarter than the human. Supposed to be now. I don't know how, but it's supposed to be. So we got the smart technology. Knowledge have increased. Our children know how to do things at an early age that you and I probably would have trouble picking up on when we were their age. And invention is off the chain. Witty inventions is off the chain. All right? And then it said, many shall run to and fro. Run to and fro. You think of people just running back and forth. People are traveling like never before. You go to the airport and you ask yourself, where are these people going? They're traveling. Just going places, man. I mean, they just, when it enter their mind, vacation. Where are we going? We're going to wherever, and we're going to drive. And it's just to and fro. You go on the interstate, or you go out on one of the busy corridors that ins and out of whatever city, and man, it is like gridlock, man. People are, you ask yourself, where are these people? You laying at home in the bed sleeping, and these people are moving. People are moving from city to the country. People are moving from the country to the city. They are moving and going just on the run, on the move. Busy, 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 busy. I got to do, I got to go, I got to get, I got to have. All of this is a sign that we are in the end times. Go ahead, Sean, next verse. All of this is a sign. Go ahead. Then I'm going to tell you about the dream.
Then I, Daniel, looked, and behold, there stood other two, the one on this side of the bank of the river, and the other on that side of the bank of the river. And one said to the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the sea, how long shall it be to the end of these wonders?
Go ahead.
Then I heard the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand and his left hand unto heaven, and sware by him that liveth forever, that it shall be for a time, times and a half, and when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And I heard, but I understood not.
Listen now, listen to this right. And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people. Go ahead. Go ahead. I ain't gonna say no more on that. Just read between the lines. You'll figure it out. Go ahead.
And I heard, but I understood not. Then said I, O my Lord, what shall be the end of these things?
And when he shall have accomplished to scatter the power of the holy people, all these things shall be finished. And when who we talking about? Scatter the power of the holy people. Go ahead. Keep reading. Next verse.
Verse 9.
9.
And he said, Go thy way, Daniel, for the words are closed up and sealed till the time of the end.
Go ahead.
Many shall be purified and made white.
Thank God for Jesus.
And tried, but the wicked
and tried. I know y'all like the white and purified. I like it too. I like the white, the purified, then the tried. Man, he had to add that in that scripture, man. Why couldn't he just leave that alone? He had to put that in there. Many shall be tried. Go ahead.
But the wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand, but the wise shall understand.
But the who shall understand? The wicked shall do wickedly, and shall not understand, but the wise shall understand. All of this is to come, and it is coming. See, God will purify you and cleanse you, save you, purge you, wash you, but the trying gonna come. And the thing about it is there's gonna be a separation between, you cannot never say God didn't cleanse me. You can never say he didn't deliver me. But the wicked gonna keep doing wicked. If you keep yielding to it when the trial comes. Because you're here, sometimes it's better to take you out of the world than to leave you here. Because you ain't going to be able to stand. You keep folding up. You keep giving in. Well, the Lord know what I need. He know what I want. He know you need salvation. He know you need him. Or maybe something else. I don't know, Sean. Revelation 22. Sean, I'm learning. I don't know. Maybe I'm just guessing. I don't think so. Revelation 22, verse 10.
Revelation chapter 22, verse 10.
Yeah.
The King James Version.
10 through 15.
And he said unto me, Seal not the sayings of the prophecy of this book, for the time is at hand.
Yeah.
And he that is unjust, let him be unjust still.
Yeah.
And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still.
Go ahead.
And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still. And he that is holy, let him be wholly still.
Go ahead.
And behold, I come quickly, and my reward is with me, to give every man according to as his work shall be.
All right, next verse.
I am Alpha and Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last. Blessed are they that do his commandments, that they may have right to the tree of life, and may enter in through the gates into the city.
Go ahead.
For without are dogs.
Now, when she said without, outside of the city are these. Go ahead.
For without are dogs, and sorcerers, and whoremongers, and murderers, and idolaters, and whosoever loveth and maketh a lie.
Now, out of those things, none of us fit in those categories. Because outside would be those type of people. But inside would be those who, hey, he's clean, they're righteous, they're holy, they're living for the Lord. But outside are, now, this dog here, not animals. See, the devil knows who is his. All right, I ain't gonna say no more. Because some of the words you probably don't know what they mean, so don't worry. But look up the word sorcerer, look up the word whoremongers, look up the word murderers, idolaters, and whoever else. Just look up them words. All right? Because some of you may not know what these words mean, you know, because to some people, these words are like household items, things that we use every day. You know, this right here could be salt, pepper, things that we use every day in our home. You know, could be your clothing. This right here could be like a murder she wrote. That right there, you know, could be you know, like a person that act in a, you know, like a person that we call idiot. That could be, you know, in our, like people that act like that. You an idiot, you know. To us, that could be that. Y'all got those words now? Y'all gonna look them words up? I just told you in the last days, knowledge will increase. We just read that, right? And people will be running to and fro. Knowledge will increase. Well, what do you have? So you ain't got to really go home to look the word up. She said she left her brains at home. Could you believe that? Who would leave their brains at home? Oh, you said the phone. She said she left her phone, not her brain. That's a good one. Listen. Have you ever walked away from home or going someplace, and then you get down the road and you realize, oh, phone. How many turn around and go back and get it? It is like I have left a part of me. And I have to turn around and go back and get it. Because if I don't, if someone come to that home, to that house, and get my smartphone, all my information is in that phone. I can't even remember phone number. It's in that phone. All right, go ahead, sorcerer. Don't worry about it. I know it'll be all right there. Some of us going back and getting that phone. Go ahead.
A person who practices sorcery, black magic, wizard, warlock, diviner, seer, enchanter, charmer, conjurer, a medium, a witch, soothsayer, sorceress, magician, occultist.
Now let me share something with you. Fortune teller, Ouija board, all this stuff. People practice all this stuff. Some of this stuff is in your school. Some of this stuff is in your home, on your television. Your children watch it every day. One company is one of the biggest practicer of witchcraft on your TV. See? Then you wonder, well, what's wrong with my children? Why are they acting up? the world? You got to stomp the child, kick the child. What's going on with the child is what the child is ingesting. See, knowledge has increased. We got satellite. We can pick up whatever channel we want to pick up. Now you don't have to have a satellite. I mean, well, you have to have some type of satellite, not on your home, but there have to be some type of satellite to pick up these channels that are in the air. Not only that, now think about this now. You don't have to have cable to get, you need internet, but you can get some good channels. Go ahead, the next word. Anybody got the next one? Whoremongers? You got a smartphone now if you didn't leave your brains at home. Brother Joe, you left your? You didn't bring yours? Your phone? No, he left his brains home. This is a smartphone. How did you think? Think about this now. No. How did you think to get out of your car and leave that smartphone in your car? Because you need this to think for you. Let me share something with you. This remembers date. It remembers important things. It remembers all type of stuff. It's very smart. Very smart. I can connect the people with this. I can do this with my brains. Before that, it was your brains, right? This has replaced it. And there's so many things that this thing do. Same way your brains and you thinking a certain way can get you in trouble, this can too. It is so smart that it has gotten us to the point to where we don't have to think really no more. This do it for us. Go next word. Murderer. Murder is the unlawful. You skip one now. Oh, wait a minute now. You can't skip that big word right there. I didn't hear that. I'm talking to Brother Joe. You can't just cut in and I'm talking. It's a respect. It's the word called respect. How do you spell it? R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Find out what it means to me. I'm talking to him. I ain't hear nothing he say. He done cut in. All right, tell me what it said. Go ahead. A sexually immoral person. Spirits can cause you to become this. Promiscuous man or woman. All right. All right. You got that one. Next one. Who got the next one?
Murder is the unlawful killing of another human without justification or valid cause.
Abortion. Without valid cause, we just kill them. Go ahead. I ain't going to talk about that. Ooh, now let me share something with you. The biggest murderer there is Satan. But he's not the one on trial. You be the one on trial. You know how many people in prison because he had murdered people through them? He's the biggest thief there is. He steals in the open. You know he's stealing. The Bible said, let him that stealeth steal no more. He said, when the thief is caught, he steals right before us and we don't even know he's stealing, man. All right. Y'all got it? All right, the next one. Adultery. Now, it's more murder besides that now. Go ahead.
The worship of false or idol gods, extreme admiration, love, or reverence for something or someone out of the will of God.
I guarantee you, I remember some years ago, we took these phones right here, and everybody took their phone and put them at the altar. Leave it there for a week. I guarantee you they will break in this church to get the phone. I promise you. And it won't be people out in the community that do it. It'll be the church folk right in here. Leroy, you got a key? I just feel somebody's calling me. If you could just let me get in to check my taxes. I promise you, if you lose it, it'll feel like a part of you is gone. We worship it. Go ahead. Now, listen now, there's some good points to it now. But you have to use it for what's good. Go ahead. Now, I'm not telling you to use your phone for what's bad. I'm telling you to look up these words. They're right there. Knowledge, technology, knowledge, right there at your fingertips. Go ahead, you finished? That's it? Now look at that. None of us don't do that, man. You know how easy it is to worship things? This show come on every night at the same time. I got to be there. You become a worshiper of it. It's easy to worship a person. Matthew 24. I got to tell y'all this dream. I got to tell you this dream. Matthew 24. Go ahead, sister.
And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
Next verse.
And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another, that shall not be thrown down.
Go ahead.
And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
Go ahead.
And Jesus answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you.
Now, don't let nobody trick you. Don't let nobody lie to you. Don't let nobody try to change my saying. Go ahead.
For many shall come in my name, and saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And he shall hear the wars of wars and rumors of wars.
Listen. Many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. A person don't have to come out and tell you I'm Christ. Many have died saying and leading God's people in ways that were not right. Many. Many. The U.S. have had many and still have many who are saying this and saying that. Many. And many shall come. But he said, do not be deceived. Listen now. I'm going to give you the scripture that will keep you from being deceived. I'm going to just quote it. For God is the Spirit. That stops right there. Anybody come to you saying, I am that person? Wait a minute. I thought God was a spirit. Wait a minute. He neither eat. Are you eating? He don't sleep. Are you sleeping? If all these things don't add up, I don't have to believe you. Because as far as I'm concerned, you're a mere man. You may have a gift from God, but you are not him. See, there's a difference. See, it's easy for people to start worshiping the gift and call man God because you're worshiping a gift. All right, go ahead, Sister Sean. Now, you said, go 20, starting at 6. Go ahead.
And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
And rumors of war. Go.
See that ye be not troubled.
For
all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Boy,
that is the scary part right there. Look, listen now. And you shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that you be not troubled. Don't be alarmed. Don't panic. Don't be a panic. Don't panic. You shall hear of wars and rumors of war. Listen, this ain't just hearing of wars. This war actually happening. Don't be alarmed. Don't panic. For all these things must come to pass, but the end still isn't yet. Young man told me on Thursday, either Thursday or Wednesday, one of them days, and he said, Apostle King, I want to share something with you, a dream I had. And I was getting ready to tell the man, listen, I don't interpret dreams, sir. I don't have that gift. But I'm going to hear you out. Now, if you ask me to interpret the dream after you told me the dream, I'm going to tell you, you need to tell it to somebody else. So he said, I want to share this dream with you. He said, the dream starts out good, then it goes from good to terrible, worse. He said, in the dream, certain man, I'm not calling the man name, certain man, when he came into power, he said, in the dream, I saw that this man would come into power. I saw it in the dream. And he said, and then I'll tell you some more later on. And he said, because of that dream, blah, 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 man came into power. He saw it. He said, and then, after the man comes into power, he said, the economy would boom, would just explode, just blow up, man, just become one of the best in the history. And he said, when that man came into power, the economy in that country, one of the big entity of buying and trading, in 3 months' time, they paid out $3 trillion. That it was coming in like that. That they could pay out that to investors and all these type of people. It was coming in like that. So if I pay out $3 trillion, imagine what I made. He told me, he said, Apostle King, I'm not making this up. You go on the internet, it's on the internet. He said, I saw it in the dream in 3 months. That happened in 3 months. He said, then, as that went on, you know, because people in the dream, man, they're excited because you can see the people. They're excited about what has happened. Wow, man, they're excited about this. The man is taking credit for it all. Then he said it was this country that was like talking, causing problems from time to time. And then that country, the country that was prosperous, decided, okay, listen, enough is enough. Let's just go into war against this country and deal with this issue. And they went into war. And they defeated the country. And after they defeated the country, everybody was excited. Blah, 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 you know, all this stuff. Everybody's excited. Everybody is happy. Everybody is, oh my goodness, man. Everybody is praising that man because he's in power. And everybody's praising that man because things are going good. Now, in every war of any country, anytime you go into a country, invade a country, and you win or whatever, you have to build that country back. You have to build that country back. So in other words, you thinking it's a win-win. It's a win-win for some. So in other words, you in war just to shut the mouth. But in actuality, the people who are investing in this going to make big money. But the country is going to have to pay money to build this country back up. So really, in actuality, you're supposed to take over, basically. But because the man that they were praising began to do underhanded things that were not right. He said, the man said, Apostle, I'm seeing this in a dream. The man began to do underhanded things. and he would not do what the agreement called for that they had agreed upon years ago. All countries have to abide by it. And this man decided he would do differently and would not keep his end of the bargain, the agreement. And so, based upon that, China steps in. And China said, listen, you're going to keep in line with what the agreement of each country is to do. You went into war, you won, do your part. Where the man, because of who he was and his power, decided to say, who are you? We'll challenge you. Now, that country and China goes into war. But because of the agreement that they had made years ago, they couldn't use nuclear war, couldn't go into a nuclear war. So it was a conventional hand-to-hand combat war where you use military jets, tanks, man fighting men, that type of war. And he said, in the dream, he said, I saw where the country took out one of China's ship. Well, China had to build the ship back. They needed the ship. They had to build this ship back. It took them 7 months to build it because they needed that ship back in battle. Well, this country, while they were building the ship, killed 10,000 troops of China's 10,000 troops. The general, now this is a dream now, the guy telling me. The general from China, he said, I was in the dream, I was there looking at it. He said, the general from China calls back to China and says, send me 20,000 troops because we need them. China sends 50. Now, China destroys one of their ships. It would take them 2 years to build it back, which they needed it before the 2 years could be up. 10,000 of their soldiers or more got killed. Now they sends for, that general sends for more troop. But when he sends for the troop, nobody would enlist. Because they were saying there's no need to go to a senseless war. Now, in the midst of all of this, he said, I saw the price of gas, $15 a gallon. I saw the price of a gallon of milk, $20 a gallon. Because someone has to pay for that war. The country has to pay for the war. And so inflation is going to go up because the country has to pay for the war. But nobody would join. Now, that country has 8,000 jets, fighter jets, but only 4,600 pilots. So they call for the retired pilots to come out of retirement and train the new pilots on how to fly these jets so that they can outnumber these Chinamen. When the pilot, they paid them big money. When the pilots came out to the guys that were training to go into these planes, the pilots told them, do not fly these jets and go in there and kill innocent people for no reason. So now, because of that, China wins the war. The country surrenders. China wins the war. Where you think it's over. China wins the war. It's over. The country surrendered because it's too weak to fight. But what the country didn't know, there was a country called Russia had surrounded them while they were fighting. And Russia made the statement, When that country decided to say we surrender, we give up, Russia made the statement and said, I understand what you are saying to them, and told China they belong to me. And that's when the bombs began. Now listen, you're going to figure it out. Listen. From Canada all the way down to Florida, bombs were hitting the whole East Coast. All the way into Michigan, Detroit. He said to me, he said, Apostle King, I went up in the air and was looking down, and I saw the bombs blowing up along the East Coast. You know who is president? And everything is about, if you don't shut up, I'll do this. We'll bring so much military power because he think, quote unquote. See, when a person is a bully, he can't fight all the time. So he used others to fight for him. Now you figure out who I'm talking about. And the U.S. suffered great loss. Now, let's do some calculation. If the church doesn't pray, within the next 5 to 6 years, that could come to pass. Here's what the man told me. He said, Apostle King, 2 parts of the dream already came to pass. And when the man was telling me, he's crying. He's from Brazil. He's crying when he's telling me the dream. He said, I pray like I never prayed before. I don't want to see this happen. So he tells the dream to a Russian. He said when he got through telling the Russian the dream, the Russian didn't say anything. Just walked off. Now I want you to understand this. The last war that the U.S. was in, when they came out of that war, they were asking concerning suitcase nuclear bombs. There were 70-something nuclear bombs, suitcase. The bombs are missing. They only found a few. Where are the bombs? Now, they could be planted anywhere on the East Coast by people who we allow to enter the country. I don't think none of us, listen, let me tell you something. When God says, I'm taking the bottom and bringing it to the top, and I'm going to prosper my people, he's telling you this for a reason. Not for you to go out and buy all the cars you can afford. Because if milk is $20 a gallon, what do you think bread's going to be? What do you think the daily thing that you need to survive is going to cost you? So God is trying to bless his people, and he's telling you, do not blow what I've given you, because times are going to get tough. I know you got big plans. I already seen my house. I already seen my cars. You already looking in the magazine. You on the internet. You got all these big plans for this money. Well, there's no need to have big plans for the money and you're starving. I know you ain't excited about that. I know you ain't excited about that.
Some years ago, similar to that, they had suitcase bombs.
If God doesn't step in and do something, this country will change from what we call freedom to bondage. You know how many people hate this country? Now listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this right here. Last month, three countries, Navy went into military practice together. Guess who the country were? Russia, China, and Iran. What's the coincidence? Now I want you to understand this. I heard a prophet said this, and it's amazing how God does things. I listened to a prophet Monday on YouTube made this statement. He said the U.S. do not need to go into a war with Iran, because for the U.S. to fight Iran means that they will be fighting Russia, because there is just as much Russian in Iran. So if they go into a combat against Iran, they're fighting Russia. And Russia's not going to sit back and let its people die. They do not need to go into this war.
Another thing too, when we're in Afghanistan, what a lot of people don't realize is Afghanistan military was basically funded by Russia.
Most of them are.
Most of it is because all these tanks and weapons and all that came from Russia. So, and then I don't know if anybody's been keeping up the news, but there was a Russian sub off the coast of South Carolina.
Exactly. What is that sub doing there? Now listen now. Listen. Listen. Listen, if you don't pray, see, the enemy knows I can get them focused on money, because they so caught up in themselves that they ain't know what's going on. Listen, your smartphone, you don't take it to use it for what it's smart for. You take it to surf YouTube, Facebook to see who's talking about who. Guess what, child? Child, let me tell you something. Peter, Paul, and John, boy, they're acting up on Facebook. And this is what you do. And instead of get in there and find out what is going on in the world. Current event is important. Now, you didn't know nothing about this submarine off the coast of South Carolina. It's a Russian sub. What is it doing there? From Cuba. Because in Cuba, Russian got bombs in Cuba. They got nuclear warheads there in Cuba. This is why the United States pull out. We don't want nothing to do with it. We're not going to help you. For the simple fact, you allow Russia to do this. Let Russia take care of you. And Cuba have suffered because of it. But you know what they're saying? We're waiting on that day. Because how far is Cuba from the U.S.?
You better say it. You better say it.
Boy, we vacation. The Bible said in the last day, people be going to and fro. Boy, we all over the place. And they ain't know what we riding over the top of. Up under you, around, you don't know what the world you near. And God is saying, my people just don't understand. Do you know what I'm pushing to get you to do, to get my people saved, to get my people healed, because the time is going to come. It's sad when people don't believe it. I don't believe that. But U.S. got the best whatever in the world. Yeah, we behind. We got the best whatever in the world. And this man is doing all this stuff, and you don't know what these people have in their country. Because listen, if you go to Ezekiel, Ezekiel will tell you. Ezekiel 38, 37, it'll tell you. Listen, it will tell you. You got Gog, Magog. Who in the world is Gog and Magog? This Russia. But here's what Russia does. Russia funds other country. It funds other country, the finance, the military weapon. Well, when it funds other country, these high tech military weapons, they don't know how to use it. God said, I will put hooks in their mouth and draw them out of the hills. How you going to do that? Because they're going to have to come out to run these equipment. Then you find yourself fighting God. They talk about Gog and Magog. What the world you think they're talking about? They're talking about these countries over there. The man said, he said in the dream, no, you said a man that told you that. You saw it on YouTube. The man said, here, the president of the United States, he's thinking Russia is behind him. Said the man took his name, saw it in the vision, tore the name up. You so simple, the man don't care nothing about you. But you calling on them to help you. Well, you silly, they're setting you up. The Brazilian man told me, he said, I voted for him because I saw in the dream he would win. Now you have the church saying, it is the will of God. And you know what I say? Well, good. It is the will of God. It is the will of God. Let it be the will of God. But when things change, and it's not like how you, I want your family member to be the one that get the draft letters. Because I'm going to make sure, if YouTube is still available, I'm going to make sure that you know it's the will of God. The same way they want to draft mine, yours going to. And the only way a country can rebuild is that somebody have to start having babies. Somebody have to start having babies. It's the only way the country can rebuild. You have to have people to be in position. And somebody have to start having babies. Randy? We are sitting on a ticking time bomb. And we are not focusing on why God want to bless us. We are only focusing on what we want to do with it. We have family members and children that are signed up for these military, different branches of the military. Not for that. Not for that. Listen, every situation can be resolved, but the Bible says in the last day, but why would he say that? In the last days, there'll be wars and rumors of war. Why would he say that? Because here is one of the reasons I want you to understand. People will become so caught up in themselves Because anytime a war break out, people prospers. Some people die. Because he can invest. One guy told me, he said, listen, I work for so-and-so. And then working for so-and-so, he said, I was doing so good, blah, blah, blah. Man, man, let me tell you something. After I got through, I got hurt and stuff. He said, they paying me $87,000 a year. See, people prosper. Disability pay me $87,000 a year. Well, you can prosper if you go over there and don't get killed. Not through the military now. It got to be through these private companies. Because these private companies are not based in the United States. I mean, we're not based in South Carolina. They're based in other countries. And that going rate in that country, that's what it pays. I mean, in that county, country, in that city, that state, that's what it pays. The man told me, he said, listen, if it got hurting in South Carolina, the job I had, there's no way they would have given me that kind of money in disability. But when I went over there through that private company and began to do security and got hurt because a bomb came in and everybody had to get out the way and the bomb hit and I got thrown off the thing and got my knees messed up, they paid me $87,000 a year. You want $87,000 that bad? See what's left when a man say he's a Christian. I got all the money I'll ever need. The only thing I don't have is a military to back me up. Because I got all the other toys. See? So the devil, I need somebody to fight my battle. And so in other words, I got security, but I need it on a bigger scale. And that way, this type of security, I can talk like a bully. And you will have to listen to me. But at what cost? At what cost? At what cost? I remember when the Lord gave us, and I'm saying this, I know it's on YouTube. Listen, I remember when the Lord gave us, he said, you don't know the half of what is discussed behind closed door in that place. I ain't gonna call the name of the place. But the Lord is letting people look in to see what's actually going on, to hear, to know what's going on, so that these people know that God knows and sees everything. We're in a time, man, where if you don't obey, you could be, listen, there's no welfare coming when things like this happen. See? Well, hey, pastor, look here. Hey, friend. Boy, I'm going to get back good money this year, yeah, because the government, I got 12 head of children. The Lord told us, store up food. If he's telling you to store up, there ain't no welfare or income tax coming to bail you out. Pastor, you mean to tell me, a whole lot of stuff good, but don't mean I have to get pregnant because it's good. Now I'm saying certain things, but I'm not saying certain things. All right? The cats or the dog, which one of them eat the kibble and bits? They say it's good. They say it's good. So Sean, I had to bring something in there that way. Listen, they say it's good. You see what I'm saying? You eat certain things and you say it's good, but just because it's good don't mean that I have to, because there's going to be some consequences to this. And it's playing right into it. Yeah, you having children to go to the war for them to die. Because let me share something with you. This is the only country that you volunteer to go in. Every other country, when you turn 18 years old, you going to the military. If you are able-bodied, you going to the military. And you going to learn. Now, I don't know how, maybe not all the countries now, because I don't know how Mexico is. It's totally different. Because you got young guys over here, so I don't think they're the same. They're probably the same as you. I don't know. But I know in the United States and all these foreign countries, listen, it's a must. You going 3 to 4 years in there, and you're going to learn what it takes. And after you get out of there, then you can go do what you got to do, but you got to report back from time to time for training. Listen, the Bible said, you read it, in the last days, if there are wars and rumors of war, somebody got to fight them. And we're in a country, so that means we're not exempt. And if you go through the Old Testament, there were always wars. Good versus evil, always. Now here you got the same thing, but it ain't too much good. It's more evil. You get people in position, they try to, listen, we need to sit down and negotiate, come up with ways. And the last result is, okay, well, there's nothing else we can do. There's nothing that we can't avoid this. But if there is a way, if there is solution to the problem, let's find it. But according to scriptures, it ain't gonna always be good for us. See, there'll be a time that comes when people will wish they were out of this world. And I don't think, listen, let me share something with you. Too many people, there are not too many people in this country is willing to lose their rights and be governed by communists. You're talking about another era of the Antichrist. That's what it'll be. Now, when I say the Antichrist, you know this man. He killed many Jews. Why you kill them Jews? Because they were God's chosen people. Why you kill them? Kill many of them. In hell today. Great leader. Kill all these people, all these Jews. Millions of them. 6 million Jews he killed. Why? Why? So if these countries want nothing to do with God, what do you think they're going to come after you for? Because you serving God. And the thing I want to do is take your rights away from you so you cannot call on that God. That spirit hadn't left that country. See, things were laid dormant. And we over here partying. But we didn't know what we getting ready to face. Only thing I can tell you, who going on the front row, on the front line? It ain't gonna be me. I'm on the front line now with Jesus. I ain't going on the front line in no useless war. For what? For you to say I'm powerful, I got this, I got that. Listen, all that's in Christ. So if we never prayed, we need to really pray. And so you got division in the body. Oh, it is God. God chose him. You need to get this nut out of there. I'm telling you, this thing working. you can't see what is actually happening. See the division? See the division? And some will fight you. There's a division in the body over one person when it should be about Christ. Over one person, we divided. It should be about Christ. Jesus Christ, man. Lord help us. You see how messed up we are? I didn't vote for him. There wasn't nothing to do with him. We voted for him. We laid hands on him. Blah, 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 blah. Listen, you know how many Christians I've laid hands on and have backslid? Have backslid? Had gone back out into the world? You know how many people have seen the word from the Lord where they let us? Listen, I'll give you what you want as long as you give me what I want. You keep voting for me, I'll give you what you want. Keep voting for me. Listen, I don't care if you baptize a devil. He's still a devil. Well, he's saved. Oh, he just need deliverance, that's all. He just need deliverance. I ain't saying he's not saved. But I can tell you one thing. You call me a SOB, we're gonna have a problem. We have a serious problem. YouTube, I thank God for you guys. Serious problem. I thank God. This is stuff that's coming out of his mouth. That MF did this, that MF. And you a Christian? No. If I'm a Christian, see what people don't realize is when you get into that type of power, whatever spirit is in that White House enters you.
Exactly right.
It enters you and begin to control you.
That's right.
That's why you find so many leaders in the Bible who were up and they fell. Because those spirits entered them because they knew. Listen, it's just like a church. If I can get the pastor, I got the whole church. If that church is not sound, if that church is not built on the word, I got the whole church. So if I can get the president, I got the whole country. That's why you have cabinet members. That's why you have the Senate. That's why you have Congress. To avert this stuff, to keep this from happening. Well, I know some churches. If it happens, I know some churches. They're going to be on the front line, Bubba. I'm going to make sure that is broadcast on YouTube. You're going to be on the front line. Line it up. All your members, their holy dress and all, straight on the front line. Line them up out there to battle. If you don't know how to shoot a gun, learn how to shoot one. Point your finger and shoot. You got power in your finger. For this church right here, no, we can be praying. Because I'm telling you guys, it's going to get ugly if the saints don't come together and pray. Sometimes things go too far that you can't back out of it. And when you're a person like that and you act before you think, that's not a wise person to be in a position such as that. You need to talk to your advisors. What do you think I need to do in this situation? Because sometimes people can see what you can't see. But when you got people that are corrupt, listen. Listen. When there's over 100-something people resign, something wrong. Something wrong. Something wrong. Listen, I know people resign from Christ. But when Jesus was in, Judas didn't resign until the end. He hung right in there. But Jesus knew. But he didn't resign to the end. And then Jesus said, because he was chosen for this. He was chosen for this. That was only one. But he was chosen for this. I knew he would do me like this. Listen, the Father put him among me for this reason. For this reason. And listen now, if you are a Christian and you are a believer, Jesus came preaching peace, not war. The only war that he waged was against Satan, the kingdom of darkness. It was not against man, because man is not your enemy. They're not your enemy. When you really come to the realization, in heaven or in hell, you'll realize they were my brothers and my sisters. We were all created the same. We were all created the same, created from the same dirt, breathed in by the same God. Could you imagine? Why would you think, ask yourself, why would God create people and breathe in them the breath of life and they become a living soul and say this person right here is straight for Satan? Why you put breath in them? Eliminate them. Don't put no breath in them. Don't even create them. He has to give all of us a choice. He wants you to willingly live for him. Willingly. You ain't in the church for no reason. You in the church because you made a choice. You know what, God? You in this building, let's put it like that. You in this building because you made a choice. You know what you say? God, listen. A whole lot of things may not be right. A whole lot of things may not be going right in my life. But this one thing I do know. I love you. Now, here is when you can tell the one who are maturing in the word and the one who's still a babe in the word. I love you because of what you gave me. No, that's a babe. See, when you're mature in the word, I love you because of who you are. I love you because of who you are. Because when I was a babe, you proved to me as to who you were. Now that I'm older in your word now, listen, now that I'm not asking you to prove to me. I'm just telling you to keep loving me. I'm not asking you to prove nothing to me. I'm just asking you to keep loving me. And listen, if you keep giving me life or without life, I know you still love me. Sister Elena, he show us every day his love. Every day his love. I don't care what technology man come up with. It can never outdo what God did in you. Whether saved or unsaved. You hear what I'm saying? Whether saved or unsaved. A person that we call dumb is more smarter than a smartphone. Why you say that? It ain't got no feelings. I do. Ain't got no emotions. I have emotions. It ain't got that. The only way I can go back to the past, I have to go back, you know. Now they come up with the stuff now where the image projects. Where they want to project your image. You talking to the person, but you're not talking to the person. You're talking to the image of the person. And they'll worship the image of the beast. Oh my God, man. See, the false prophet will cause you to worship the image of the beast. Everything has to play into his role. Everything is playing together to cause you and I to buy into it. And when we buy into it, oh boy, look what God gave me. God gave me a new phone and I can worship somebody's image. That's what God wants you to do. That's what he wants you to do. He said, listen, it's all coming together. It's all in my plan. All these wars and rumors of war, listen, I will deliver my people. I will set my people. One thing I want you to understand, I don't care how bad it get in whatever country, God will protect his own. Now, will innocent people die? Yes. Will good Christians die? Yes. Because listen, some bad gonna happen to the good, some good, listen, it's gonna happen to everybody, gonna experience something. But listen, at the end of the day, God will say it all worked my way. And warning always comes before destruction. See, listen, let me share something with you. My house that I live in is not my permanent home. Well, I'm going to die in this land. If they start bombing, you leave the land. Either that or the land will leave you. There's people, no, I'm not going to. Listen. If you start hearing of people who pass and die along the way, you need to start thanking God that they don't have to experience what you may be left here to experience. Because some people ain't going to be able to handle it. And you know already some of these emotional people. Oh, God, look at the person, they're starving to death. Well, you give them some food. The Bible talks about, listen, time got so bad in the Old Testament, listen, that they start eating each other's children. Revelation talk about, listen, a barley of wheat for a day's wage. Now let's talk about that, a day's wage. How many people here make at least if you got a decent job, at least $200, right at $200, or let's say $100 a day. At least that. You make that above. $100 a day. Because if you work 10 hours a day, that's $10 an hour. Now if you make that. All right? You make at something around that. Okay, you make that. Because if you work 10 hours, you would have that. If you get $10 an hour, you would have that. If you're making more than that, then good. But listen, could you imagine some wheat, bread, costing you $100? And you know how children today throw away? You will get jacks. Did you know how much that bread costs? We will go down to a quarter of a sandwich. That's all you get, in a quarter piece. Because, hey, listen, I promise you, Oprah them won't make no more money. On these weight loss things, they won't make no more money. Because when that food is not there anymore, and you have to ration things, oh my God, time will get tough. Time will get tough. My mama used to tell me all the time, she would talk about Hoover Days. You know, I don't know nothing about no Hoover Days, man. What is that? Hoover Days. Hoover Days, they ration stuff. In other words, there were certain days based on your name, your last name, that you could come and buy things. And it was only a select things that you could get, and you couldn't get a whole large portion of it. Gas was the same way. They rationed the gas. Oh, you ain't got to worry about it. Ain't no mall to be open. What are they going to be selling? And then who buying it? Because who could afford the rent? Why would I open up a mall to sell things and ain't nobody coming? That's throwing away money. The most important thing, if you want to become a rich person, learn how to plant a garden. If you can plant a garden, you become rich. I could not understood this when the man of God was saying this back in 1993 when he was saying that. And then I heard Prophet TV Joshua say the same thing. If you want to become rich, become a gardener. Because whatever you can grow, people are going to need it. Time will come. It will get that hard. Amen. Thank God for you too. I bless the Lord for you. Thank God for what God is doing in your life. God gonna open many doors for you. Listen, when God opens these doors, don't take it for granted. Don't think it's about your pleasure. Listen, don't get caught up in your pleasure and what you can buy with this stuff. Take it and set it aside because the time is gonna come when you're gonna really need it. Amen. Be encouraged.